Excuse me, how much do you pay for rent here in Japan?
I don't pay rent. I just bought an Akia. It's an abandoned Japanese house. Do you want to have a look?
Yeah, let's go. Japan has 9 million empty homes known as Akias, and we're about to show you some. TikTokers like Anton, male model turned renovator, are going viral for selling the idea of these cheap homes. But is it as good as it seems?
Welcome to my abandoned Japanese house.
It doesn't look abandoned to me. How much did you pay for this?
About $100,000. What I essentially am paying for is the land. This is 90 years old, and houses in Japan, they depreciate, which means that after 30 years, they're basically not worth anything.
So what, people just leave their homes?
So in this case, it was 3 siblings. When the parents passed away, they had this house filled with stuff. Japan is a scarcity of space, and just getting rid of things costs a lot of money and also a lot of time. So the houses just gets abandoned that way.
Why don't people in Japan want these houses?
Earthquake reasons is one thing. Also like a non-existing renovation culture. It doesn't really make sense to renovate something old when you can buy something brand new.
Before you dive in and buy an IKEA, you might want to know why they're so cheap. Japan's asset bubble burst in the early 1990s, and that meant decades of economic stagnation, which kept property prices low. So houses became like cars. The longer you have one, the less it's worth.
So here we are, the moment.
IKEAs are having a big social media moment. A group of influencers, mostly foreigners, are buying them and turning them into their own homes or into holiday lets and rental properties.
Welcome to my abandoned Japanese house.
But here's what the trend doesn't show you. Japan is aging and desperate for more people, and yet it doesn't encourage immigration. So there isn't much demand for property, even a freshly renovated IKEA. These influencers don't make much money. Unless they buy many IKEAs, what they do get is followers, sometimes in their millions. They're selling what looks like an affordable dream, and a chance to own a little piece of a place so many travelers love. That's what's driving the social media trend. You don't even have to renovate an IKEA to become an influencer. You just have to sell the idea.
My name is Shu Matsuo Post, and I help foreigners buy real estate in Japan, including IKEA.
How did this idea come about for you?
So I've been investing in real estate in the US from Japan, and that's what I wanted to actually help people with, and nobody really cared. Once I started talking about Japan, there was a lot of traction. Okay, so this house, it's about over an hour outside of Tokyo and Yokohama.
Pretty big.
Yeah. Come take a look at this one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a major water leak right here.
Yeah. Tell me how much this house costs.
$19,000.
But how much are you paying in renovation?
A little north of $20,000.
Fixer-uppers are not popular in Japan. So who took this on in the end?
An American investor actually decided to purchase this. And to your point, fixer-uppers aren't as popular as, in the US or Europe. Culturally, we're conditioned to believe that houses are only good for about 30 years to meet the newest earthquake standard. But more people started to talk about it, share their stories on YouTube, and create content around it.
Does that automatically give you residency? Does it give you a visa to live here?
Unfortunately, no. And that's what a lot of people are after. But,
Yes.
it's a different story.
Not all those who take on IKEAs are social media influencers. Some families have chosen to move to depopulated villages and refurbish abandoned old homes there. An unusual move in Japan. Once you travel out of the big cities, the issues of aging population and low birth rates become so much more pronounced. Another reason why rural areas are turning into ghost towns is that young people just don't want to live there. And this is why you get the millions of IKEAs, so many that some villages and towns are giving them away for free. We're visiting a young family that are bucking the trend. They bought a house in a rural area in the mountains.
My name's Sam King. I'm originally from the UK and I've been in Japan about 7 years now.
I'm Nanami. I'm illustrator. I'm born and raised in Tokyo.
So, welcome. This is our house, about 50 years old.
You guys have actually bought an IKEA. What's that been like?
I definitely think if we had done a new build, that would have been a lot easier and straightforward, probably affordable and quicker. But it's such a beautiful house and it's nice to preserve that and to extend its life.
Wow. How much did you pay for the house?
it cost us about 100,000 US dollars. Some people we told about this, they're kind of like, oh, that's kind of expensive for an IKEA because if you go further away from Tokyo, there are cheaper options. But even with the renovation, I still think we're going to have our dream house for less than the cost of what we could have bought anything in the UK for. I would totally recommend it.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah.
But
Be prepared that everything is not as it seems on the Instagram post, and you have to look beneath the surface a little bit.
I just bought the cheapest house in Tokyo.
House prices are likely to remain low. For a social media star, the return on their investment might be a bump in followers. For everyone else, the dream of doing up an IKEA is a far bigger risk.